not even working anymore. What's odd is all my batteries seem to be getting drained at an exponential rate. Not sure why. Of course, as I'm walking away, it kicked back on. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Soul Survivor, a show where we investigate supposedly haunted locations as well as attempt to stay the night. Once again, I'm James, and this week we will be looking at Pine Grove Cemetery in Spencer, Massachusetts. With its first burial occurring in 1808, Pine Grove is a military cemetery that has seen the interment of servicemen from the Revolutionary and Civil War, as well as World War I, II, and the Korean War. The largest graveyard I've visited on this show to date, Pine Grove has over 1,600 headstones, and almost nearly as many monuments. But the notable graves we'll be looking at today are those of the Proudies and the Hammonds, two of the town's early prominent families. In January of 1899, the affluent families of the Proudies, known for their shoe and boot manufacturing, and Hammonds, who had a hand in the local real estate, were set to join families through the marriage of Iris Proudy to the Hammonds' only son, Henry. The union was never meant to be, though, with Henry being found dead via gunshot wound in his father's parlor just days before the wedding. Henry's death wouldn't be the last, though, with Iris's mother Maria being found in the attic of the Proudy home one day later, dead by apparent strangulation. Over the course of the next several weeks, 4 more deaths would occur connected to the families, with a total of 2 dead by gunshot, 2 by straight razor, 1 beating, and 1 strangulation. The revolver disappeared from the scene in both cases, only being uncovered in the walls of a local author's home in 1970. Regardless of the reason, the results were still the same. In less than a month, 6 people were dead under mysterious circumstances. So what else could you want from a military graveyard with mysterious deaths? Well, how about a ghost that's said to haunt the grounds? Listed as one of Massachusetts' top haunted cemeteries, a full-body apparition known only as the Dark Hunter has been spotted here multiple times, a spectral entity seemingly keeping watch over the grounds. Apparently somebody buried a gnome here. Hokey the Gnome. So being the first officially haunted location I'll be spending the night in, I intend to bring out all of the guns, so to speak. As I've stated previously, I like to try something new with each one of these investigations. My idea this time is to combine unique items with a bioluminescent material, such as glow-in-the-dark paint, or in this case, phosphorescent tape, in hope of gaining trace evidence, such as the tape seemingly glowing by itself, or maybe even fingerprints. Now let me get something straight here. This is just a toy. I do not suggest you go out on your own to do paranormal investigations or otherwise carrying something as realistic looking as this. It may get you arrested, hurt, or even worse. All that's left now is to wait for darkness to fall. So this time, I went with a little bit of an easier setup with a lean-to rather than the teepee from the old burial ground. Get in here for a second. A little bit cramped, but it will do. Remember the motion sensor cat toys? Yeah, forget about those things. This time I figured we could actually test out some motion sensor lights. With this much ground to cover, I plan to set up the motion sensors at 3 key points of the cemetery. One on the Prouty grave, one on the center mausoleum, and one in the old section of the graveyard. Okay, I'm gonna leave this camera pointing down the old side of the cemetery. And I'm going to put the motion sensor directly in the middle of the path. You know, someone asked recently why we tend to hunt ghosts during the night rather than during the day. You know, I think it has more to do with reaching into the primal parts of our brains that we used to rely upon at the dawn of time. Your mind opens up at night, allowing the darkness to play tricks on your imagination. Every sound becomes a dangerous animal, and every shadow becomes a spectral entity.
Ironically, it's about this same time that my camera captures the motion sensor in the old part of the cemetery going off.
Damn coyotes. Let's take a walk with the EMF, see if we can get it to go off. Anyone. Anyone at all. Don't be shy. Come up and touch my hand. If anyone is nearby, come to the sound of my voice. Alright, I'm at the Sagendorf Mausoleum. Come over and touch my hand, please. The hand holding this object. Okay, let's go give our new experiment a test. Okay, leave the shoe right there. I'll leave that just like that. Okay, just for good measure. All right, we'll see what happens. Looks like it's on in my camp. That must just be the outside plat. All right. All right. Greetings to anybody who is here with me right now. Come to the sound of my voice if you can hear it. Just like with everyone else, I feel the need to tell you that I will not be able to audibly hear you. The object in my hand will allow me to hear you after the fact. My name is James. Can you say James back to me? Can you say the name of the family of the gravestones I'm standing in front of? Maria Prouty, are you here with me right now? Maria, there's a light off to my left right now. Can you touch that light or walk around it? Or if anybody is around me right now, walk around the light to my left. Okay, Maria, I thank you for your time and response, if at all. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Again, the camera in the old part of the cemetery captures the motion sensor triggering, and it's not long before I notice a new problem beginning to develop.
So it's been an interesting night. All my batteries are almost drained completely, not sure why. My power bank, which usually charges each of my devices at least once fully before it dies, completely done. My camera, which I came in with 3 batteries, I'm down to just 1. Not even working anymore. What's odd is all my batteries seem to be getting drained at an exponential rate. Not sure why. These are brand new batteries. There it goes. It's effective or what? Thing does not want to work. We've been having that issue all night tonight. Hello, anyone who is here with me right now. Come to the sound of my voice if you can hear it. Went off for a second there. I hear rumors of a spirit here who guards the grounds, keeping watch over everything. Are you here with me right now? I'm guessing you don't go by the name Dark Hunter. Can you say your actual name to me in this device? Were you one of the soldiers buried here? You can also come up and touch one of these devices. Got all these fun items around me. Okay, that's going to be about it for the night. I thank you for your time and any responses you may have given me. Of course, as I'm walking away, it kicked back on.
With my batteries all but completely drained, I'm forced to call it a night. After all, no power means no film. Overall, it was an interesting experience staying in Pine Grove overnight, and I'm eager to get home and review all of the evidence. But there's one final thing I need to check before I do.
Well, as per my usual standards, I have just finished reviewing all audio and video footage 2 times, and there's definitely plenty to talk about tonight. Okay, first up is actual video footage. I scanned through hours of footage as well as IR footage, and from what I can tell, nothing. There is a lot to go through, though. I could have missed something, who knows? Next up is all the audio files, and for a place that's reportedly well known for its EVPs, do you think I managed to catch one? Actually, maybe. You know, I take my time with reviewing these, and I had a total of 7 instances where I heard strange sounds coming through the device. Whether it was sniffing or muffling a cough into my elbow away from the audio recorder, I was almost able to pinpoint every single instance, except for one. During my 3 a.m. EVP session at the mausoleum, what sounds to be a human breath can be heard underneath my words as I attempt to coax activity around me. You can also come up and touch one of these devices. You can also come up and touch one of these devices. You can also come up and touch one of these devices. You can. Now, am I claiming it was caused by a ghost? Absolutely not. But it is an interesting small bit of evidence nonetheless. I have not been able to conclusively determine what caused it, and you can't seem to hear it in any of the corresponding footage. Alright, let's take a look at everything else now. So between the 2 meters, I was able to get that one tiny blip to actually pop up on the sensitive one. Of course, I was moving it around at the time. I'm not sure how that would even affect a device like this, but, I mean, it potentially could have. It is interesting due to the fact that we were having electrical issues all night. Speaking of which, let's talk a bit about how fast my batteries drained on me.
So, to test this out, I recharged my power bank to 100% and drained my phone to about the same level it was when I left the cemetery. I then proceeded to leave my phone plugged in overnight, coming back in the morning to see that it hadn't even dropped to 75%. Well, not yet anyways.
Okay, the phosphorescent tape, got nothing off of that. Then again, it is an extremely new theory. I mean, I didn't even really know what the hell I was doing or looking for. Okay, on to the motion sensors. So these motion sensors are a big step up from those cat toys we used in the Rutland prison camp graveyard. Step within 2 feet of them and they come on in a heartbeat. Like so. So the motion sensor I set up in the old part of the graveyard went off twice, whereas the one at the mausoleum didn't work until I left the area altogether. Now, it wasn't windy out that night, it was dead still. So I don't think it was any leaves blowing past the motion sensor that triggered it. Now, there is a slight chance it could have been, say, a coyote running through the graveyard past the light, but they were not in the area at the time the light was going off. So now back to the classic question, is Pine Grove Cemetery haunted? I wouldn't necessarily claim that it's haunted, but we did gather more evidence than any of the other locations combined. I look forward to further investigation of Pine Grove Cemetery, as well as bringing you more investigations here on Soul Survivor. See you guys next time.